Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm excited to talk to you about all of the results that you've gotten from doing this neural retraining work with me and the Wired for Wellness program. So, thank you so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate it. Can
Yeah,
you s-
absolutely.
can you start by telling everybody what you were dealing with that led you to neural retraining?
Yeah, so back in April of this year, I was in a high amount of stress with work and just other things in my personal life, and I had dealt with Lyme disease in the past, so I had some of those really similar symptoms physically and mentally, and was working with my Lyme doctor, and she actually recommended me to you. Then we started working together because I was having a lot of mental symptoms and like just really didn't feel like myself.
Yeah. Can you go into a little bit more detail for people so they can maybe resonate with something that you went through?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had Lyme disease off and on since 2018. It's gone into remission, and I've had a few flare ups. And initially, when this first started, I really thought I was having a Lyme flare up, and mostly those in the past have been physical, but this was the first time it was really mentally grueling. I was dealing with anxiety and depression and insomnia, just really sad all the time. Physical symptoms as well. I started gaining weight rapidly. I started losing hair. I mean, things that I've never faced before. Just a lot of mental battles. I was physically and mentally exhausted 24/7. I was just having a lot of mental struggles where I would have nervous breakdowns and panic attacks and fight or flight symptoms, things that I've never experienced before. So,
Yeah.
really glad I found this program.
Right. And it got pretty severe in terms of the depression too, right? You were having suicidal thoughts, which was very unusual for you also, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was having suicidal thoughts. Nothing that I was actually considering, but it was alarming to me that okay, my brain is telling me this, and I've never dealt with this in my life. So
Yeah.
that was very scary, and so I used the neural retraining program and certain different modules in there that were really helpful for me to kind of ease those pains.
Good. Okay, we'll get into that a little bit more. One thing I also wanted you to describe for people, because I think this was one of the most tormenting parts of it for you, is that you found yourself stuck in a mental loop of thoughts a lot, I think, right? Where you would
Yeah,
really, your brain was fixated on the symptoms, even though the symptoms weren't life or death, right? But your brain was
yeah.
still like freaking out,
My legs
fixating
feel
on them.
fine now, which is, it's funny to think about. Yeah, I had neuropathy. My legs would just have this like sharp burning pain constantly, and this was a daily struggle from the time I would wake up in the morning till the time I would go to bed at night. Sometimes it would be very constant and very tough to kind of even forget about or eliminate or
Yeah.
distract myself to the fact that it wasn't there. But it really helped me, like this program and using that to really break that pattern of those ruminating thoughts and those negative thoughts because it was a huge mental battle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, what was going on when it started, right? Just so people can kind of have an idea of like what kicked this off for you.
I think a lot of it was past family relation issues and past relationships, things that were bothering my loved ones that then started to bother me, and people of my
Yeah.
past reaching out to me, and that started to make me overthink about things that were not even realistic things. I had a panic attack. I think that's what really set it off, and the panic attack set off what I thought was Lyme symptoms, and then uh,
Yeah.
just just brutal
Unfortunate feedback
pain.
loop, right?
Coming to your program and coming to Wired for Wellness and trying something different, something that I was really hesitant and uncertain of at the beginning. And you kind of reiterated that it's not a quick fix. It's not going to happen overnight, but the more work you put in, the more you'll get out of it. And after 4 or 5 months, I am feeling a lot better, and I have control of my life again, control of my thoughts.
Yes.
And,
Awesome. So, it's been 4 or 5 months about since this started.
right.
Right. But tell me about how long it took you in the neural retraining process to actually get relief from the majority of these mental and emotional symptoms.
I would say it took about a good 6 to 8 weeks at the beginning because the symptoms were so severe. It was even hard to focus on the program, right? Once I was able to actually carve out time and be more consistent with it, that's where I started seeing more and more results.
Mhm.
And that really started aiding in the recovery aspect of it. And another thing that I didn't really mention before is the things that I love doing, like going to the gym or hanging out with friends. Like I became a shell of myself. I didn't really want to leave the house unless I really needed to.
Yeah.
And that's very unlike me. So I kind of lost who I was. And this helped me kind of bring back the old me, bring back the person that I was, the happy and joyful person.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it
so
was really
you're
helpful.
re-engaged in your life now, you're, like, doing everything you wanna do, having more fun. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. 100%. And I'm looking forward to things. I'll be like, I got to go on this work trip or, I got to go do these things that normally I'd be really excited for. I was just dreading it, which is so unlike me. I'm becoming me again. I'm hitting that stride and I broke through that wall. And I remember you and I would, the conversations would shift, right? Like
Mhm.
from this negative person that didn't think he was ever going to get out of this to like, oh, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. So that mind shift was
Yes.
super powerful.
Yes, that's awesome. How long did it take the insomnia to go away when you started neural retraining?
About a month or so. I think there was a good month where I just didn't really sleep well. And
Mhm.
then once I was able to actually get focused on the program and I did the feathering and certain other aspects of it, I was able to build consistency and how much I was sleeping. I mean, at the beginning, I had like maybe 1 or 2 hours a night. To now, I'm sleeping 8 or 9 hours. So back to a good sleeping schedule, and I
Beautiful.
think when the body gets the rest and your brain gets that rest, that's where the healing begins.
Yes, absolutely. How did you like the neural retraining processes, right? Because a lot of people don't know anything about what they're like. They assume they're like therapy or like mindfulness or something like that, but they're different, right? So tell people how you felt about them and what it was like to do those.
They were good. I think my brain initially was like, "What is this?" So I think my brain was not receptive to it, and that's where the consistency and the persistence of doing these over and over again, it really helps. You just listen, you close your eyes, and you just practice. There's different modules in the program, and I think for me, the feathering was the one that helped me with the sleep. I would put that on as I would lay down and go to sleep, and a lot of times it would help me just kind of pass out and get good rest.
Yeah, those are amazing for sleep. So good. So you like those. Did you like any of the other styles of processes?
The dancing was fun. I thought it was silly at first, but
Uh-huh.
it made sense because it's kind of trying to bring out those serotonin levels in your brain and put you in a better mood. And I would do those in the morning because generally the mornings were the most difficult. I'd wake up, but I really didn't like look forward to anything in the day. But then put on your favorite song, you start dancing, and so
Yeah.
that would help.
That's awesome. So tell people about what you learned after you got these neural retraining results and you got rid of the anxiety and the panic attacks and the depression and the insomnia. Now I think you're still working on some physical symptoms, but you found
Yeah.
out that there was an underlying cause. So tell people about that.
Yeah, so as I was doing the neural retraining, I did some blood work about a month ago and noticed that I had low vitamin D, I had high blood sugar, but then the most critical part was my testosterone was pretty low, and I'd never had that be an issue before. Now, once I can get this testosterone to normal levels, that I should feel close to 100%. I've got some good programs in place to help with that with supplementation and training and
Mhm.
nutrition, and
Good.
so that's the next step for me.
Yeah, and that should deal with the other things like weight and hair loss and stuff like that, but
Right.
I just think that it's such a cool story that you were able to get these massive results with neural retraining, even though you had nutrient deficiencies and blood sugar imbalances and really severely low testosterone. So I think that's really inspiring for people because some of those physiological issues can take a little bit longer to heal, but you
Yeah,
can still get massive relief even while you're still working on those. So I think that that will really be exciting for a lot of people to hear. Is there
I
anything else
agree.
you Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree 100% with everything you said. I think men in general, they don't like to talk about their mental health. There's been kind of a stigma in our society. If we have these issues, we don't generally want to talk about them. We kind of want to conceal them with other things, and I think that's the complete wrong approach, because my results and my journey back to full health has been being able to have those conversations, and being honest with how I feel, and being honest with, hey, something is not right, and come into the neural retraining program. This actually has been a real lifesaver for me, and given me my life back, in the sense that I could be happy again. I can look forward to things. And so, if anybody out there is struggling or on the fence, even with this program, I say it's worth a try, because if you don't have your health, I don't know what you have. So, invest in your health 100%. And sometimes we look at it, oh, the financial aspect can be tough, but nothing is worth your health. And so, if I could give anybody a piece of advice, it is that: try it, give it a shot, and don't give up. Dr. Kirtan and I have talked about, antidepressants were an option, and sometimes that works for people, but I'm so glad I didn't go with the antidepressants. Being in the way that I feel now, I'm super, super happy, and I'm very excited for the future.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that and being part of the paradigm change in mental health that needs to take place for everyone, but definitely for men. I agree with you 100%. I hope more men find the courage to deal with their own mental health and get better through hearing your story.
Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you.